公投的优缺点及经典代表案例。公投 referendum 是一种让公民就特定问题进行投票的政治机制，通常以是或否的形式表达意见。各国政府在面临重大国家决策或宪法变更时，常常会通过公投来获得公众支持。公投的优缺点在不同文献中被广泛讨论，以下是对其优势、劣势及经典案例的综合总结。一、公投的优势。一、直接民主。公投允许公众直接参与政策决策，确保民意得到准确表达，而不被代议制中的代表所扭曲。来源三。这一机制使得每个公民都有机会在特定问题上发声，增强了民主参与感。二、政治教育。公投促使公众对重要问题进行广泛讨论，从而提高选民的政治意识。围绕公投进行的辩论能够激发选民对政策的关注与理解。来源三。三、政府响应性。公投使政府在选举之间更加关注公众意见，迫使其对特定问题做出反应。这种机制能够让政府在非选举期间也保持对民意的敏感性。来源三。四、合法性。在涉及宪法变更等重大政策时，通过公投获得公众认可，能够确保新设立的公共机构具备民主合法性。来源三。这种方式能够增强政策的合法性和公众的信任感。五、解决内部争议。公投可以帮助解决政党内部的分歧。例如，1975年英国关于是否继续留在欧洲共同体 EC 的公投，有助于明确政府的立场。来源二。二、公投的劣势。一、削弱代议制。公投可能削弱代议制，因决策由公众直接做出，而非经过选举产生的代表。来源二和三。这可能导致政治决策的复杂性被简化，从而影响政策的深度和质量。二、信息不足。公众在复杂问题上可能缺乏足够的信息或理解，导致做出不明智的决定。来源二和三。例如，许多选民可能在没有全面了解情况下，仅依据情感或媒体报道做出决策。三、政治操控。公投的时间和问题设置可能被政府操控，以达成其政治目的。来源二。例如，政府可能选择在有利于其政治利益的时机举行公投。四、低投票率。许多国家的公投投票率低于国家选举，因而影响公投决定的合法性。来源二。低投票率可能导致选民的意见不被充分代表。五、不可靠的民意衡量。公投仅反映特定时点的民意，不能作为长期政策决策的可靠依据。来源三。这意味着公投结果可能由于某一时刻的情绪波动而受到影响。三、案例分析。公投在不同国家和历史背景下的应用各有特色，以下是一些经典案例。1997年英国权力下放公投，苏格兰和威尔士的公投结果支持了权力下放，增强了地方治理的合法性和公众参与感。2011年选举制度改革公投， 67.9% 的人选择维持现有的单一选区制，显示出公众对选举制度的保守态度。2014年苏格兰独立公投，最终以 55% 对 45% 反对独立，反映出国家认同感和政治归属感的争论。2016年英国脱欧公投，以 51.9% 支持脱欧，显示出对欧盟的广泛不满及对国家主权的重视。四、总结。综合各来源的观点，公投在提升民主参与和政治透明度方面具有积极作用，但也面临着信息不足、公众参与度低及可能的操控等问题。因此，虽然公投为民主决策提供了一种直接的方式，但在复杂和重大政策的决策中，依然需要谨慎对待，以免在缺乏充分信息和辩论的情况下做出不明智的选择。各来源总结。来源 in Seneca Learnings //Seneca Learning com ENGB Revision Notes A-Level Political Studies Edexel Sun Do or Case for and Against Referendums。来源 L ACE projects //ACE project Word ASN topics ESSA essay 08 essay 08 essay 08 A03 mobile browsing one pack Lionsai get revisings //get revising .co UK grids for and against referendums 这些来源提供了对公投的全面分析，既有理论支持，也有实践案例，帮助理解公投在现代民主体系中的作用及其挑战。
The pros and cons of referendums, classic representative cases. Introduction. Referendums are a form of direct democracy that allows citizens to vote on specific issues, often resulting in a binary decision of yes or no. This mechanism has been used in various countries, particularly when significant national decisions or constitutional changes are needed. While referendums are heralded for enhancing democratic participation, they also face criticism for potentially undermining representative democracy. The following sections will explore the advantages and disadvantages of referendums illustrated by notable case studies. Advantages of referendums. 1. Direct democracy. Referendums empower citizens to directly influence policy decisions, ensuring that the public's voice is heard without the distortion of elected representatives. This can lead to more authentic expressions of public opinion and enhance the legitimacy of policy decisions. 2. Political education. The process of campaigning and debating referendum issues often raises public awareness and understanding of political matters. Voters are compelled to engage with the issues at hand, which can foster a more informed electorate. 3. Government responsiveness. Holding a referendum can serve as a mechanism for governments to gauge public sentiment on specific issues. This can lead to more responsive governance, as elected officials may feel pressured to act in accordance with the will of the people between elections. 4. Legitimacy for major changes. Significant constitutional amendments or policy shifts often require public endorsement to be deemed legitimate. This is especially crucial for changes that impact the governance structure of a nation, as public support can provide a strong mandate. 5. Resolution of internal conflicts. Referendums can help resolve divisions within political parties or the electorate. For example, the 1975 UK referendum on European Community membership helped clarify the Labour Party's stance on a contentious issue, allowing the party to maintain unity. Disadvantages of referendums. 1. Weakening of representative democracy. Critics argue that referendums undermine the role of elected representatives. By allowing the public to decide on complex issues, there is a risk that informed deliberation and debate, hallmarks of representative democracy, are bypassed. 2. Lack of information. Voters may not possess the requisite knowledge or understanding of the issues at stake. This is particularly concerning in referendums concerning complex matters such as constitutional changes or international treaties, where the electorate may be ill-equipped to make informed decisions. 3. Political manipulation. The timing and framing of referendums can be influenced by the government for political gain. This manipulation can lead to biased outcomes, as seen in the 2016 Brexit referendum, where the phrasing of the question may have swayed public opinion. 4. Low voter turnout. Turnout in referendums is often lower than in general elections, which raises questions about the legitimacy of the results. A decision made by a small segment of the population may not accurately reflect the will of the entire electorate. 5. Transience of public opinion. Referendums capture public sentiment at a specific moment, which may not be a reliable indicator of long-term preferences. This can lead to decisions that may not align with enduring public interests or needs. Case studies. United Kingdom. Devolution referendums 1997. The referendums in Scotland and Wales resulted in overwhelming support for the devolution of powers, reflecting a clear public mandate for increased self-governance. Alternative vote referendum 2011. This referendum aimed to change the electoral system but resulted in a decisive rejection 67.9% against, indicating a preference to maintain the status quo. Scottish Independence Referendum 2014. The referendum saw 55% voting against independence, showcasing how referendums can resolve significant national questions but also highlight deep societal divisions. Brexit Referendum 2016. The narrow margin 51.9% for leaving the EU has since led to ongoing political turmoil, underscoring concerns regarding the consequences of decisions made via referendums. Conclusion: referendums offer a unique avenue for direct public participation in governance, enhancing democratic engagement and legitimacy for substantial policy decisions. However, their potential to undermine representative democracy combined with risks of misinformation and manipulation presents significant challenges. The case studies from the UK illustrate both the efficacy and pitfalls of referendums, highlighting the importance of careful consideration when employing this democratic tool. Ultimately, while referendums can enhance democratic mechanisms, they require robust safeguards to ensure informed and genuine public participation. The report on the pros and cons of referendums, along with classic representative cases, reveals significant insights that many might overlook. Here are some important content aspects and their significance. 1. Direct democracy versus representative democracy. One of the critical discussions in the report is the tension between direct democracy and representative democracy. While referendums are seen as a tool for enhancing direct participation, they can undermine the representative framework that characterizes most democratic systems. This is significant because it raises questions about the role of elected officials in making informed decisions on complex issues versus the public's ability to make nuanced choices with limited information. The significance of this tension is profound. It challenges the very foundation of democratic governance. If direct democracy becomes more prevalent, it could lead to a dilution of the representative system, potentially resulting in populism where decisions are made based on immediate sentiment rather than long-term considerations. This dichotomy forces us to reconsider how we define democracy itself, whether it is through the lens of direct citizen engagement or through the structured deliberative processes of elected representatives. 2. Political education and voter awareness. The report highlights that referendums can serve as a vehicle for political education, stimulating public debate and increasing political awareness among voters. This aspect is often overlooked, but it is significant because it implies that referendums can enhance civic engagement. When the public is presented with complex issues, these discussions can lead to a more informed electorate. However, the counterpoint is the risk of misinformation and emotional voting, particularly during referendum campaigns where the questions posed can be simplistic and misleading. This points to the need for robust voter education initiatives that accompany referendum processes, ensuring that the public is not only engaged but also adequately informed to make responsible decisions. The emphasis on education in the context of referendums can lead to a more informed citizenry, which is crucial for the health of any democracy. 3. Manipulation of the referendum process. The report discusses how the timing and wording of referendum questions can be manipulated by those in power to achieve desired outcomes. This is a crucial point that many may take for granted. The significance here lies in the potential for government overreach and the erosion of democratic norms. If referendums are used as political tools rather than genuine expressions of public will, they can undermine trust in democratic institutions. This manipulation can lead to a situation where referendum results do not reflect the true will of the people but rather the interests of the political elite. This raises critical ethical questions about the integrity of democratic processes and the responsibility of governments to uphold democratic values. It is essential for citizens to remain vigilant about the motivations behind referendums and to demand transparency and fairness in their execution. 4. Legitimacy of decisions and low turnout rates. Another often overlooked point is the issue of turnout in referendums, which tends to be lower than in regular elections. The report notes that low participation can call into question the legitimacy of the decisions made through referendums. This is particularly significant because it can lead to the enactment of policies that do not reflect the broader electorate's views, thus disenfranchising a considerable portion of the population. The implications of low turnout are profound. They suggest that referendums may not always be the best method for gauging public opinion on critical issues. If only a small segment of the electorate participates, the resulting decisions may not represent the collective interest, thereby raising concerns about the democratic legitimacy of such processes. This highlights the potential need for reforms that encourage higher voter engagement in referendums, such as mandatory voting or public campaigns that raise awareness of the issues being decided. 5. Historical context and case studies. The inclusion of historical case studies such as the UK's various referendums on devolution, independence and EU membership provides valuable context for understanding the ramifications of referendums. Each case exemplifies different motivations, outcomes and public reactions, underscoring the complex nature of direct democracy. These case studies are significant because they illustrate the varied impacts of referendums on national identity, governance, and public policy. They serve as cautionary tales about the potential for division that referendums can create, particularly when the stakes are high and the public is divided. The analysis of these cases can inform future discussions about when and how to utilize referendums effectively, ensuring that they serve the public interest rather than exacerbate existing tensions. 6. Conclusion on democratic engagement. In conclusion, while the report outlines the clear advantages of referendums in enhancing democratic engagement and political accountability, it also draws attention to the potential pitfalls, the complexity of issues, the risk of manipulation, and the challenges of ensuring informed participation. Highlight the need for careful consideration before employing referendums as a decision-making tool. This balance between leveraging referendums for direct democratic engagement and safeguarding the integrity of the democratic process is crucial. It calls for a nuanced understanding of how referendums function within the broader political landscape, emphasizing the importance of public education, transparency, and the protection of democratic principles. As societies continue to grapple with issues of governance and representation, the insights gleaned from the pros and cons of referendums remain highly relevant and significant for future political discourse. 1. Direct democracy and political engagement. One of the most valuable points in discussing referendums is their role in promoting direct democracy. By allowing citizens to vote on specific issues, referendums ensure that public opinion is directly expressed, rather than filtered through elected representatives. This mechanism can increase political engagement by compelling citizens to educate themselves about the issues at hand, leading to a more informed electorate. The case of the 2014 Scottish independence referendum, which saw a high turnout of 84.6%, exemplifies how referendums can galvanize public interest and participation in the political process, demonstrating the potential for referendums to reinvigorate democratic participation. 2. Legitimacy and accountability of government decisions. Referendums can enhance the legitimacy of significant governmental decisions, particularly those that involve constitutional changes or major policy shifts. By obtaining public approval through a referendum, governments can ensure that their actions are backed by a clear mandate from the electorate. This was evident in the 1997 devolution referendums in Scotland and Wales, which helped legitimize the transfer of powers from the UK Parliament. Such referendums can serve as a check on government authority, ensuring that the views of the populace are considered in crucial decisions, thereby fostering a sense of accountability. 3. Challenges to representative democracy. A critical disadvantage of referendums is their potential to undermine representative democracy. Critics argue that by placing complex issues in the hands of the electorate, referendums can weaken the role of elected representatives who are tasked with making informed decisions on behalf of their constituents. The 2016 Brexit referendum illustrated this concern as many voters lacked a deep understanding of the implications of leaving the EU, leading to polarized and potentially ill-informed choices. This raises questions about whether the general public is adequately equipped to make decisions on intricate political matters, thus challenging the effectiveness of referendums as a democratic tool. For manipulation and question framing, the potential for political manipulation in the context of referendums is another significant point for analysis. The timing of referendums. The framing of questions and the influence of media and political campaigns can skew results. For instance, the 2016 EU referendum witnessed strategic framing of the question, which affected voter perceptions and choices. This manipulation can lead to outcomes that do not genuinely reflect the informed will of the people, raising concerns about the reliability of referendums as a measure of public sentiment. Consequently, the challenge lies in designing referendums that maintain fairness and transparency while also ensuring that they are genuinely representative of voter intentions. These points provide a comprehensive basis for in-depth analysis and discussion regarding the complexities and implications of using referendums in democratic governance. Famous historical cases of referendums. 1. United Kingdom's Brexit referendum 2016. In June 2016, the United Kingdom held a referendum to decide whether to remain in or leave the European Union (EU). The outcome was a narrow victory for the Leave campaign, with 51.9% voting to exit the EU while 48.1% voted to remain. This referendum was significant not only for its immediate political impact, leading to the eventual departure of the UK from the EU in January 2020, but also for the intense public debate it sparked regarding national sovereignty, immigration, and economic policy. Critics argued that the public was not adequately informed about the complexities of EU membership, raising questions about the legitimacy of the decision. The referendum highlighted the potential for referendums to polarize public opinion and influence long-term political landscapes. 2. California Proposition 8 2008. In California, a referendum, Proposition 8, was held in November 2008 to determine whether same-sex marriage should be banned in the state. The measure passed with 52% of voters supporting the ban, which led to significant legal and social ramifications. This referendum sparked widespread protests and legal battles, culminating in the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in 2013 that effectively allowed same-sex marriages to resume in California. The case of Proposition 8 exemplifies the challenges of using referendums to decide on contentious social issues, as it showcased both the potential for direct democracy to reflect public sentiment and the risks of minority rights being overridden by majority votes. 3. Quebec Sovereignty Referendum 1995. The Quebec Sovereignty Referendum of October 30, 1995 sought to determine whether Quebec should become an independent country. The vote was extremely close, with 50.58% of voters choosing to remain a part of Canada and 49.42% supporting independence. This referendum was a pivotal moment in Canadian history, highlighting the ongoing tensions between federalism and regional nationalism. The close outcome led to heightened discussions about Quebec's place within Canada, the nature of Canadian identity, and the potential for future referendums. It also underscored the complexities of using referendums for issues that strike at the heart of national unity and cultural identity, raising questions about the effectiveness of direct democracy in resolving deep-seated political divisions. These cases illustrate the profound impacts referendums can have on national policy and identity, the potential for public engagement in political decision-making, and the inherent challenges and controversies involved in direct democracy. Future outlook on referendums. As we look ahead to the future of referendums, several trends and potential developments can be predicted based on current political dynamics, technological advancements, and societal changes. Below are key predictions regarding the role and impact of referendums in democratic governance. 1. Increased use of digital platforms. The rise of technology will likely lead to the increasing use of digital platforms for conducting referendums. Online voting is expected to enhance accessibility and participation, particularly among younger voters who are more familiar with digital interactions. This shift may lead to higher voter turnout and engagement, addressing one of the major criticisms of referendums: low participation rates. However, this also raises concerns about cybersecurity and the integrity of the voting process. 2. Focus on specific issues. Future referendums may increasingly focus on specific high-stakes issues such as climate change, immigration, and healthcare reform. As these topics gain prominence in public discourse, governments may utilize referendums as a tool to gauge public sentiment and legitimize policy changes. This trend could also help resolve contentious political debates, allowing citizens to have a direct say in critical issues that affect their lives. 3. Enhanced political education and engagement. With the growing emphasis on political education, referendums may foster a more informed electorate. As seen in recent years, campaigns surrounding referendums often stimulate public debate and discourse. Educational initiatives aimed at explaining the issues at stake could become more prevalent, helping voters make informed decisions. Increased political literacy may mitigate some of the risks associated with ill-informed voting, a common critique of referendum processes. 4. Greater legislative accountability. As discontent with traditional representative democracy grows, referendums might serve as a check on governmental power. Citizens may demand more referendums to hold their elected representatives accountable, especially in situations where there is a perceived disconnect between government actions and public opinion. This trend could enhance the legitimacy of political decisions and reinforce democratic principles, providing citizens with a direct mechanism to influence policy. 5. Rising skepticism and manipulation concerns. Despite the potential for increased engagement and legitimacy, skepticism regarding the use of referendums is likely to persist. Concerns about the manipulation of referendum questions, timing, and governmental influence will remain significant. Future debates may focus on the need for clearer regulations and independent oversight to ensure that referendums are conducted fairly and transparently. This scrutiny will be essential to maintain public trust in the referendum process. 6. International trends and cross-border referendums. As globalization continues to shape political landscapes, the concept of referendums may transcend national borders. Issues such as climate change, trade agreements, and human rights could prompt transnational referendums or initiatives. This could foster a new form of global direct democracy where citizens from different countries collaborate on shared challenges, although it raises questions about sovereignty and representation. 7. Adaptive frameworks for complex issues. In response to the challenges posed by complex societal issues, there may be a movement towards creating adaptive frameworks for referendums. These frameworks could include deliberative processes, where citizens engage in informed discussions before voting. Citizens' assemblies or panels might be convened to explore issues in depth, leading to more nuanced and informed public decisions. 8. Balancing direct and representative democracy. The future of referendums will likely involve ongoing debates about the balance between direct and representative democracy. As populations become more diverse and polarized, the challenge of ensuring that referendums reflect the will of the people while maintaining the integrity of representative systems will be critical. Finding ways to integrate direct democracy mechanisms into existing political structures could lead to more responsive governance. Conclusion. The outlook for referendums in the future presents a complex interplay of opportunities and challenges. While they offer a pathway for enhanced public engagement and legitimacy in decision-making, issues of manipulation, misinformation, and the complexity of governance will need to be navigated carefully. As societies evolve, so too will the mechanisms of democratic participation, with referendums likely playing a pivotal role in shaping the political landscape of the future.